These are the tales. I'm gonna back that up. I'm gonna pause that for a minute. Now, you got that last part. It possessed no interest. See, it possessed no interest to those that how to put it, like to the creator, it possesses no interest. But to man, to the nosy man, to the archaeologist, you know what I mean? And when they said archaeologist, where they laid that, what was next? Interest called human. You got what I'm saying? The human being is so nosy. The human being is so disobedient that there were signs put up in today's Egypt, in Egypt, that tell you don't dig that up, do not enter. But they did it anyway. And it did. It let diseases in our world. It let it all in our world. Honestly speaking, you might woke Satan up. You might have woke Satan up and you let Satan run free. But see, that's the thing though, right? When we was in heaven, we was disobedient because we thought we could go up against our maker. And it's time for you to understand, right? Yes, we have free will. Yes, you are a human being. Yes, you are a adult, but you have a authority entity, a supreme being you have to answer to for your actions. I'm going to leave it at that, and I'm going to get back to this reading. Of these are the tales which we call an incident as in style, those of the immortal collection, full of the whole glamour of the East, the 1,000 nights and a night. And yeah, Africa is in the East. Yeah, go look at your map. It might sit a little bit like southeast. You know what I mean? If you're looking at it from Northern America, you feel what I'm saying? But yes, it's in the East. See, I read a book when I was locked up. I believe this was the second time I was in prison. It said Western something, Eastern something. You got what I'm saying? And Africa is in the east part of the world. You know what I mean? And it's basically, it's basically, the book was basically explaining the difference in living in the eastern part of the world and living in the western part of the world. Such are the love songs, full of the burning utterance of desire, the pathetic and even bitter dirges, whose singers have seen all the works that are done under the sun, and found all to be vanity and vexation of spirit. And such also are the didactic poems for the instruction of youth, which in poetic phrase and in great detail inculcate, among other things, the practice of right conduct as the price of happiness. You heard that though? The instructions to the youth. There's instructions how to raise your youth. Somewhere along the line, those instructions has been, how to put it, lessened, not followed, not passed down. Because, you know, I'm not going to say kids have just gotten out of control. Kids probably been out of control since the beginning of time. Since a child came in this world, probably been out of control since then. Because see, if you don't get it, if you don't understand it, you're not going to process the information I'm getting ready to say. If you think Ra, if you think Satan, if you think the devil's blood don't run through your veins, you're sadly wrong. We have a choice to make. You can die in your choice or you can live in your choice, but we have a choice to make. a courtesy hardly less considerate than our own, and a charity which, when certain inevitable shortcomings are allowed, forbears comparison with almost any later system. Out of these, there are many that may probably claim a place in a series bearing the seal of the wisdom of the East. Come on now. Come on now. Series bearing the seal of the wisdom of the East. Come on now. That's why everybody coming over there to Africa, right? That's why back in the days, each culture, each continent sent some type of military into Africa to seize, to take our happiness, to take our wisdom, to take our knowledge. When I tell you Africa was the Mecca of the world, it was the Mecca of the world because that's where life was formed, that's where history begins. But as touching the books here translated, the instructions of Ptahhotep and of Kajimni, they possess a part of the greatest interest and an adequate claim on the notice of all persons interested in literature and its history. For if the datings and ascriptions in them be accepted as trustworthy, there is no reason why they should not be so accepted. They were composed about 4,000 years before Christ and 3,550 years before Christ, respectively. And the significance of those remote dates is that they are the oldest books in the world, the earliest extant specimens of the literary art. They stand on the extreme horizon of all that ocean of paper and ink that has become to us as an atmosphere, a fifth element, and essential of life. Well, that's my time with y'all. But did you understand how these books, this right here, the instruction of Ptahhotep and the instruction of Kajimni was written before this was ever published to the world? It was published to our culture. And it was probably, you know, to give you a scenery, to give you the imagery. You know, it might have been a papyrus leaf. It might have been some stone, but it was only one papyrus leaf, one stone with these writings on it. And it was a man or a woman standing, speaking, reading it to you. That's how religion was. You feel what I'm saying? The Egyptian Book of the Dead, there was no little reproduction of Bibles. It was that one book that priest, that high priest, that God of information, that God of spirituality recite to you. Anywho, I am the Nasty Pastor. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, follow. Look, I'm out. I love you.